what may be one of the biggest signings we get all offseason, depending on how things pan out here. And that's Paulson Adebo, quarterback formerly of the New Orleans Saints. And listen, we said this all along. Rob and I have been very consistent saying that point blank, we had to get a corner this offseason. One of the bigger name corners at that point, a guy who can legitimately be a cornerback one for us if things continue to not pan out for Deonte Banks. And like I said, I'm not counting on Banks at this point to ever turn into a CB1. Could he? Of course he could. But I don't want to count on it. You know, Rob and I both thought he was more of a second round selection kind of talent. We took him obviously in the latter part of the first round. We traded up for him. He had his issues, obviously, with big name receivers in year one. Had pretty much a horrendous year two. So Adebo, 6'1", 194 pounds, 25 years old. Played at Stanford with Bobby Okereke, by the way, guys. So you have someone on the team point blank that played with him that can go ahead and give a good assessment of him overall. You know, which is, I think, a big plus category kind of thing because they know what they're getting. Assuming they trust Okereke to tell the truth. Because we all work with that guy that doesn't want to say the negative about anybody they work with, but assuming he's telling the truth, it's a good move. The biggest issue, and I'm already seeing some of you all in the comments with it, is the injury last year. Only played 7 games last year, guys. And this was a chance for him to shine potentially as they finally, got rid of Lattimore last year. But only 7 games on the season, and honestly, kind of a disappointing season overall. His numbers were down. He, definitely didn't show what you want in a free agency year. But they said he'd be making a pretty strong comeback there. As a pretty scary leg injury he had versus the Broncos. Got literally carted off the field. He's been showing videos, I know, on social media about him like literally doing cartwheels and stuff like that. Obviously, leg injuries, jumping around, flipping, doing all kinds of things on that. Says probably got some healing done there at that point. But the big thing and the big reason why I think he's a giant, guys, point blank, the biggest reason why I think he's a giant is because of interceptions. The guy has shown abilities to be a ball hawk. He's a very aggressive corner, and this is something the Giants haven't had in many years now. Last year, again, just 7 games, had 3 interceptions, 52 tackles as well in those 7 games. In the last 2 seasons, he's had 7 interceptions in 22 games. So that's, you think about it, regular season on that, what he's done the last 2 years. If you played a full season, 5, 6 interceptions. That pretty much doubles our total last year, I think. Like that's a really good interception number. Now, his coverage last year, though, his coverage grade, at least through PFF, take that for what it is. And there's people that love PFF, and there's people that hate PFF. There, 63.9 coverage grade, not the best, and he's done much better previous years as well. So, I'm looking at part of that as a small sample size. You play a couple of games, the best games. Next thing you know, if you would have played 7 games, the number's going to drop there. He's played 52 games overall in his career. 51 of them starts in 5 seasons with the Saints. And like I said, he's typically a much better coverage guy than he was last year. He does have the tendency to be overly aggressive. Got some bad penalties called against him. That's definitely been an issue. He also struggled against the run last season. So, that's one thing I want to see improve with the Giants, that's for sure, because I think part of the issues we had last year was some of the outside corners not being the best in stopping the run, which I know is a weird thing to talk about, corners and stopping the run, but it is part of it. You do have to go ahead and be that last line of defense and outside runs sometimes. But, much of his career, he's really been a solid number 2 for them. Marshon Lattimore obviously has been the number 1. Lattimore got traded over to the Commanders. Now they've lost him. So they've lost both their corners there down in New Orleans there. But this could be a really good pickup. Really could. At worst, though, he's going to be a solid starting corner for this team that's being overpaid. We'll get to the money part in a minute because there's been a couple of weird reports going on money-wise and, where things are at there. But you look at what's going on, and it's a move that I really think helps the Giants in the short term at the very least. And like I said, this guy has the potential to be a number one corner for us, guys. He really does have the potential to be a number one corner. And that's something that I don't think we've really had in quite a while now. At least it feels like quite a while. Like you had a Dory Jackson. He was kind of for a little while there, it looked like he was going to be a top corner. I think the injuries kind of caught up to him and he lost some of the speed and that kind of hurt him there. But, Deonte Banks was never going to be a number one corner last year. Sorry, no offense to him, but he just wasn't. We have a guy now that legitimately could be. He also, like I said, could be just a solid starting corner, and there's no harm in that either. So you got to kind of see which one you got there. As we got Rob in the house there, finally beating the traffic.
Hey, it's me, Rob, on the mobile show apparently.
So here's the skinny on the numbers for you guys. So the deal was initially reported to be 3 years, $30 million. Now, when I heard that, I was like, that's a good deal. That's a damn good deal. That seems to be incorrect, though. Jordan Rodon of ESPN was reporting it to be about $18 million annually. Nick Underhill is reporting 3 years, $54 million, which has been since confirmed. And NFL Network insider Mike Garafalo has confirmed that the first 2 years, totaling $36 million, are completely guaranteed. So you got a 3-year deal with an out basically after 2 years. That's not bad. Like I said, I'm okay with this because not every move has to be without any kind of, concern or worries there. And you definitely have them. If you're paying a guy $18 million a year, which let's be very clear is number one corner money. Like that is number one corner money.
Yeah.
But we're giving number one corner money to a guy who's never really been a number one. That's the concern you have. There's a risk. But like I always say, when it comes to free agency, if there's no risk, they wouldn't be free agents. Their teams wouldn't let him go.
Yeah.
You're going to overpay in free agency, guys. That's a fact of life. Let me be very, 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 very clear to it. Like, you got to take the good and take the bad. You take the rest, and there you have the facts of life. The facts of life.
In the circle of life.
Oh, gosh. I went from TV show to you're doing a movie now.
It moves us all.
Exactly. So what are your thoughts, Rob, since I've had the chance to talk about him a little while we're waiting for you?
I think you pretty much hit that. I think it's a good move. I think it's like we need to bring in secondary work here. We said it last week. We're going to overpay in free agents.
Mm-hmm. And no one gets a great deal in free agency. I want to make sure everybody understands that. No one goes, "Oh, I got a discounted rate in free agency." That doesn't happen.
No, not at all. I mean, we can talk about other players around the league and talk about how much other teams overpaid for him, but this is a Giants podcast. We don't need to do that right now. But overall, I think it's a good move because then it gives Banks a legit fight to be number one. And a fight that he's probably going to lose for a little bit, but he'll get it over. But I mean, depending on how this guy's coachable, I don't know. I'm not in the locker room, but he might need that competition to raise to the competition he needs to be at.
Yeah, after what he did last year, I have no confidence whatsoever in Deonte Banks ever becoming a CB1. And it's not just how he played; it's the attitude and the issues that he had on the sidelines, those kind of things. Where I'm just like, but like I said,
I mean, the only defense you give that guy is he legit had some really tough talent to play.
Oh, he got put in a crappy situation. You and I said that going into it. We said it going into the season that point blank, he's going through a gauntlet of top receivers. He is a guy that point blank is not ready to be a CB1, and he's being thrown into it at a year that he's going to have to go against pretty much every top receiver in the entire NFL. Like we said that right off the bat.
Yeah.
And I felt bad for the kid. I really did. That being said, I still don't like what happened.
No.
And we talked about guys like DJ Reed. We talked about Ward from San Francisco, guys who, by the way, have already signed elsewhere, to see you guys know as well. But I feel like we got a guy in this who fit the bill, but wasn't exactly one of the guys we listed as one of the top flight guys, because I kind of had him as a tier beneath those guys. And it's a lot of it, let's be frank, is because A, the injury, and B, because of the fact that he's never been a CB1. I
Correct.
just I just think the age was, I think, something the Giants really looked at, though. He's 25 years old. He's going to be 28 years old at the end of this. The other guys who we talked about that were like the top kind of guys
Pushing
there.
30.
Yeah, they were like 28, around there. So a 3-year difference when you're a corner is a big deal. He's just getting into the prime of his career. And if you're going to pay for somebody, maybe you pay for somebody who's in the upswing, not somebody that's going to start the downswing in a year or two. And I think that's what really happened here, is the Giants look at a young player that they can get their hands on, and they just took the chance.
Listen, I'm pretty happy about it. Like, at the end of the day, we had some good signings. Like, I see that you, I guess, went over our re-sign, but yeah.
Yes, you missed that part.
Very easy.
But
yeah, I'm happy so far.
Yeah, like I said, I'm okay with this. And like I said, 25 years old, you're taking a risk in a guy that you're hoping is going to become a part of this team, not just for the next 2-3 years, but a guy who could be part of this team here for the next 5-6 years.
Yeah,
depending on how things pan out. Yeah,
and
that's getting way ahead of ourselves, obviously. But I'm just saying, like
this is the potential of a guy that, yes, we probably paid more than we want to for him.
Yeah,
but this could be a guy that you restructure and resign.
Yeah, and again, this is one of those that you put him in there, you give the chance for Banks to go down to where he should be. And as Anthony says here, I think Banks will shine a CB2, which will build his confidence again, and could help him possibly get that CB1 roll back. Exactly
what I was
he's going to have to get built back up. As Mac, the Giants fans, is definitely agree about Banks. That kid's confidence took a big hit last year. I don't think people realize, though, how bad it was there. Steven says just the one signing really changes the room, though. Adebo, Banks, Phillips, Flott, Hawkins is a solid room. And it's not a bad room at all, guys. And I'll give you one better. I still would not be shocked if the Giants don't get another corner, whether it's in free agency or the draft. I would not be shocked at all, because I feel like this is the way things went last year. I don't even know if I want to count on Banks as CB2. And if he's ruined, hypothetically, I'm going to put 50% of the blame of the Giants for what they did to him last year. I'm saying that right now. This is not all on him. This is at least half of it on the Giants. But he handled himself horrendously last year.
That's a fair assessment. Yeah.
Really. At this point, I feel like the Giants owe him nothing as far as starting jobs, just because of how he acted.
Yeah.
And that's me saying the Giants caused a good part of this, but still, the way he acted was immature, unprofessional, and should be not tolerated if you want to build the culture the Giants should want to build in this team. And I think they got a guy here that, by all accounts, talking to people that do cover the Saints and know this kid for a while there, that this is a guy you won't have that issue with. He's a hard hitter. He's aggressive. He goes after the ball. He does all the things that the Giants, quite frankly, have not done here the last couple of years in the cornerback room, except Drew Phillips. I'm going to give Drew Phillips the credit, because that kid came up and smacked some running backs around all season long. Didn't necessarily get the interceptions, but he smacked some running backs around.
Yeah, it's a very obvious statement, but like, I think also needs to be addressed. Like, this year will determine Banks in the future.
Yep.
And how we go forward, because if he comes in and acts like he did last year, but he improves, what do you do? If he comes in next year, acts and plays like he did next year, you also know he's out.
Oh, yeah.
But if he comes in and takes the CB2 role and takes it, with humility, being humble about it, then you got a guy who wants to sign again.
Yep, as Sadu says, he's good. We need heart and swag in 2025.
Yeah.
I don't think we're getting any swag in 2025, that's for sure. But we're gonna hopefully get some players with some heart, because we got to change. We got to change the culture. Point blank, you got to change the culture the way it's been. So,
if you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.